Welcome. My name is Andrew Binowek, and I'm excited to be doing this with you. I'm going to be walking you through different use cases, for you to master AI, right? For you to master AI, for you to master the use of AI. It's very important that you master it because in few years from now, it's already happening, but it's going to get really, really demanding in few years from now. Employers are going to require you to have these skills as a prerequisite for gaining employment. Apart from employment, if you are someone who is looking to build anything, you can't really try to build anything right now. Try to do it manually. Learning how to use AI helps you get ahead of the curve and do a lot in so short a time. And that's the reason why we are doing this. So I'm going to walk you through different use cases. So if you're a professional, this is going to be relevant to you. If you're a business owner, this is going to be relevant to you. If you're an academic, this is going to be very this is going to be very important to you. So please make sure that you're following me up on this journey because you're going to get so much value from this conversation. That being said, the first use case that we're going to look at is how to create a content marketing calendar, right? Which is pretty much what they say, um, content calendar, right? But you're going to learn how to do it the right way. A lot of people just go on social media, they just not on social media, sorry, they go on AI, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, they go there to request for a content calendar, but they don't put in the right prompts. And so what they usually get is generic output that in no way helps them achieve the goals for their business. And so what we're going to do here right now is to help you build content calendars that are on brand, content calendars that help you move from someone that your ideal customer is not aware of to someone that they rally around and they want to be a part of your community of some sort. So that's the kind of content calendar we're going to be developing. So come with me on this journey. So if you're a brand strategist, if you're someone who helps people figure out storytelling around their brand, this is also going to be relevant to you, right? So come with me. Now, the first thing you do is, let's see, let me share my screen. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to share the entire window so that uh, you see me when I move from one window to another. Yes. Now you can see my screen clearly. So I'm going to go straight into Claude. So what we've done so far in Claude, and I'm going to explain what we've done so far in Claude because the last video I did, somehow there was no sound. And I'm going to ensure that this has sound from beginning to end. So I'm going to keep going back and forth to ensure that it does. Okay. 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 Now, what we've done so far in Claude is we have basically, what we've done is to use Claude to build a skill. Now, the way you would normally build a skill is to, so I'm teaching you this because you can actually build a skill that is designed around your content marketing, right? Designed around your content marketing. But I'm going to walk you through from beginning to end so that you know exactly how to go about it, right? So let's go to charts. Then we go to content calendar template. So what we've done so far here is the first thing we did was put in a generic prompt, which is give me a content calendar in text, right? But you and I know that what this would end up doing, thankfully, Claude makes it very easy for you to work with it. So when you put this kind of prompt in, Claude, what happens is that it gives you a few questions to answer that would help get all of the details that it needs to build you something that really matters, which is fantastic, right? But then you also need to understand how to prompt properly so that when you're using, it doesn't matter the kind of the AI that you're using, you're able to get the best out of your time using AI, right? So this is me going back to check to ensure that we are still recording sound. So this is the prompt that I put in, right? Now I'm going to teach you a framework that helps you with your prompting. Now, what is a prompt? So if you're watching this video and this is the first time you're hearing that word, a prompt is an instruction that you give to your AI that guides the output it gives to you. So that's a prompt. It's the same way they normally say garbage in, garbage out. So if you put in garbage, you're going to get garbage in return. If you put something lazy, a lazy prompt, you're going to get a lazy output. So if you don't want that to happen to you, what you have to do is sit down to really craft your prompt. And it's very important to mention here that you need a prompt library where you have all your prompts, so that you don't have to always recreate your prompts. And another thing that you can also do is turn your workflows into a skill so that you don't always have to repeat that process. All you just have to do is mention that skill in chat. I'm going to show you how to do all of this. I'm saying, mention that skill in the chat, and then the AI takes that skill and uses that skill, which serves as a framework basically for doing that task. It uses that skill to create whatever output that you need, right? So that's pretty much it. So you can create a skill on a number of things. You can create a skill on how your brand speaks to your audience. You can create a skill on how your brand uses key terms. You can create a skill on how your brand writes its proposal. You can create a skill on virtually everything that has to do with your brand, so that you don't have to always recreate your prompts every time you have to do it. So for example, if you change a staff, maybe the person who is creating your content before has changed, someone else that is doing it, you don't have to now start to teach that person how to do all of that. The person just knows that, okay, there's a skill that is already installed in the cloud, that they can just simply go there and use that particular skill to do whatever task that they need to do. So that's pretty much how it helps you as a business owner, right? Also, as an academic, you create a skill that covers pretty much everything you do as an academic. So every time you have to carry out that particular task, you don't have to go repeat yourself in trying to um recreate that skill, or recreate that prompt rather, right? Now back to this. So now there's a framework for creating a prompt that works, and that framework has been broken into 5 key terms. First is context, the second is task, the third is, and in no particular order, so anyone can come before anyone. So the first is context, the second task, the third is role, the fourth is limitation, the fifth is format, right? So context talks about, all the information that your AI needs to have to be able to carry out that task. For example, if you're a business owner, you run a mark like I've done here. I said I run a marketing agency, a content marketing agency for professionals who want to build authority in their field and increase the opportunities coming to them, as well as the platform to create impact, influence, and income. So those are kind of people that I serve, and these are some of the things that I do for them. And so that's context. The next thing is, okay, I also extended the context to these professionals are busy professionals, as well as some do not think that they qualify for these opportunities, right? So this is context. The next thing you see after that is the role, right? So I said you are a content marketer with Fortune 500 companies, and you understand the problems and challenges my target audience. You have a lot of knowledge in coaching and strategic personal brand development, and you are versatile in all things required to help my target audience, right? So that is the role, right? So I've specified to this AI right now that this is the role that it's going to play. The next after that is the task, which is to create a content marketing calendar to reach my target audience and convert them to paying clients who engage me first by taking my course and signing up for my one-on-one sessions. That's the task. Now, the limitation talks about some of the things that you want it to put into consideration when it's creating the output. For example, I said, do not speak to them like a stranger, speak to them like friends, you are committed to helping to scale their careers, and do not use jargons or dashes. I need this in text. So this is limitations, right? And then the format talks about how do you want it to create do you want it in bullet form? Do you want it in text first? Do you want it in document? Do you want it in Excel sheets? So whatever format you want it to give you, you have to also specify that. So that's the framework. Context, task, context tags, format, limitations, and role, right? So we're going to end this here, and then we'll come back to look at the output in terms of developing a content marketing calendar for your business. Stay with me.